Ignacio Ellacuría, a name connected to faith and justice. But who was he, and how did his commitment to truth and helping others impact so many lives? Let's take a look at his story. Childhood. Ignacio Ellacuría was born in 1930 in Portugal, Spain. We don't know much about his childhood, but he grew up in a Catholic family. When he was 17, he joined the Jesuits. The Jesuits focus on learning and helping others. As a Jesuit, Ellacuría studied philosophy and theology. He later earned a doctorate, and he learned about Ignatian spirituality, which means finding God in everything and helping the poor. These ideas inspired him to focus on justice and faith. In 1967, Ellacuría went to El Salvador. The country was poor and unequal. He became the head of the University of Central America. But he didn't just work in the school. He fought for people who were poor and treated unfairly. Ellacuría worked with campesinos, or peasant farmers. They faced many problems. His faith inspired him to fight for things like land reform and better education. Ellacuría also believed in the power of education to change lives. As the head of the University of Central America, he encouraged students and teachers to study the struggles of poor and take action. He said education should be about building a fair and just society, not just learning facts. Many of his students were inspired by this and went on to fight for justice in El Salvador. His work in education showed how knowledge and faith could come together to really make a difference. Faith in action. Ellacuría didn't just talk about faith, he lived it. He believed the kingdom of God wasn't just in heaven, it needed to happen on earth too. This made him speak out against the Salvadoran government and military, which was really dangerous for him. He gave speeches and wrote about justice. He wanted a fair society where people shared resources. He followed the gospel's message of love and justice. Living the Paschal Mystery. Ellacuría lived the Paschal Mystery. This means going through suffering, death, and hope. He cared for the poor and gave them hope, like Jesus did. On November 16, 1989, Ignacio Ellacuría and 5 other Jesuit priests were murdered by the Salvadoran government military. 2 women working at the university were also killed. The soldiers targeted them because they stood for the poor and spoke out against injustice. Ellacuría knew his work put him at risk, but he never stopped. His death shocked the world and highlighted the problem in El Salvador. Even in death, his life inspired others to keep fighting for justice and peace. The kingdom of God made visible. Ellacuría showed what it means to bring God's kingdom to life. He stood up for what was right and helped people. He inspires others to do the same. Our call to action. What can we learn from Ellacuría? First, we need to take action. Faith isn't just about believing, it's about helping people. Second, we should learn about problems in the world and work to solve them. Finally, we should have hope even in the hard times. There's always a chance for a better future. A quote by Ellacuría states, "If we do not transcend the limitations of the present, we will betray those who have hoped for a new reality."